Hey, it's Lee with the Turquoise Valentine, and I'm going to show you how we're going to put together the Snowflake pedestal that is bought in my shop. So we're going to start with that. What you get when it comes in the mail, you're going to get the pieces all wrapped together like this, and you're going to get a little candlestick. So you're going to need, if you want to do it just like mine, this is burnt umber, and then just a little white paint, a paintbrush, and you're going to need some super glue and just a chip brush. So we're going to put this together, and I'll show you how. Let me get this plastic wrap off. All of my pieces come wrapped like this just to keep it all safe and secure. So you're going to get 2 big snowflakes, okay? There's 2 of them here. So they're going to go on top of each other. And then you're going to get 2 circles, and then you have a smaller circle, okay? So what we're going to do is start by painting everything with this brown, okay? So we're going to paint with our burnt umber. I'm going to just dip my paintbrush in my water and just get my paintbrush wet. It just thins the paint out just a little bit and makes it glide a little better. So I'm just going to paint, I'm lightly, I don't have a lot on my brush, just enough to kind of stain the wood. So it doesn't have to be just perfect, but you don't want it to where it's getting gobs of it in these cracks. So you're basically just trying to go over the wood part. You don't want too much to where it's, like I said, gobbing on the edges at all. So you're just going to paint all of the wood, not the edges, but just the raw wood part. This takes a little bit. But that's the fun of it. You gotta enjoy the process. And you can do this with a makeup sponge. You can do it with a baby wipe if you want to. But you just want to get it all brown. If you want to do it like I did mine. But you can definitely do it any color you want to. I don't recommend you painting the edges because that's where the laser burns the wood. So it's kind of it may make your paint a little muddy, but in this case, when we go to put the white on, we're going to do a little bit. So here's one just about done. Okay, so we're going to set this to the side and let it dry. Just make sure you don't have any big gobs of paint in the cracks or anything. And then we're going to do the same thing. We got to do both sides of this one. Because even though that one's going to sit on top of this piece, you can still see it on the edges sometimes. So trust me on this, paint both sides. But on that one, you just have to paint one side. Just be careful about getting it gobbed in those little corners right there. You don't want any big gobs of paint where it takes forever to dry. On my table. This makes a pretty little piece. So there's that. Let me put a little bit more paint out here. While it's drying, I'm gonna paint the circles too, okay? That should go pretty fast. I know you're thinking brown snowflakes. Why are we painting snowflakes brown? You'll see. It's not going to be brown in the end. Okay. A little circle too. Both sides. And a little candlestick. Get it all painted good. Okay. So what you want to do too is you want to, the top part of this, of your little candle ring, you want to take your sanding block and you just want to sand it down because it does have like a little ridge there. So you want to just sand it and get that kind of flat to where it's going to have something to adhere to. Okay, so I just sanded it a little bit, got that little ridge down to where it's flat. Okay, so it's just flat. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our two big circles, the two bigger circles, we're going to glue those together, okay? So you're going to take your super glue and you're just going to put, excuse me, put a couple of little dots here and there. You don't need a whole lot. Just enough to stick them together. And then you're going to just let it sit there a minute and set up. So you got your two circles glued together. We're going to set that aside. And then you're going to take your snowflakes. Now, these snowflakes are not symmetrical and they're not round, okay? I know they look like they are, but once you start trying to line them up, you're going to realize that they're not. So you can just kind of keep taking the top one. Let's see. The one that's not painted on the side, that's the top one, okay? So you can just kind of put it down and you need to try to line it up. And if part of it doesn't line up, just turn it again this way. And you'll know if it doesn't line up. Because believe it or not, it's not completely round and symmetrical. So I think I'm going to go back one. Okay. So just keep turning it until you get it to where you'll know it's all lined up. All the little shapes are lined up perfectly, okay? To where they're not overlapping. There's not an edge sticking out. And just make sure that you got the right things together. Okay, there you go. So now that I know that that's the way it goes, I'm going to take the top one off and I'm just going to lay it over here. And then I'm going to glue these two together. So I'm just going to go and put some super glue here and there on all the little spokes to hold this together. So we're going to glue these two snowflakes together to make a thicker top to our pedestal. You don't want to put too much glue because you don't want it to run out of the edge, okay? Just right in the middle, and I'll try to see if I can't show you. So see, I put glue, if you can see, kind of in the middle and just went all the way around. So now you take your piece, make sure you keep it lined up right. I hope I did. And then you're just going to kind of hold it and go around and make sure you got it all lined up straight. And the glue sets up pretty quickly. You have a few seconds, 30 seconds or so, until it really starts setting up. So you can sit there and shift it, move it around, all that stuff. And then you're just going to sit here and kind of hold it for about a minute or so and let it set up. Okay. Make sure all your little points are all touching and everything's glued down. I'm going to move it to the side. And then I'm going to take my little cap. And if you need to go in there and, touch that back up, you can. But we're going to cover that up a lot with the white paint. So now you're going to take your super glue. And you are going to just go around the rim of this candlestick cup with your super glue. Okay? And you can do it this way. It's probably the easiest. And glue it to your circle. So you can just sit here and hold it for a second and let it adhere. We're almost done. Almost done. So I'm going to set this off to the side and let that set up. Here's our little pedestal. See, both sides are painted, okay? And I'm going to take a little bit of a paper towel and just kind of run a little corner all the way around and get any of that excess glue, because I don't want it to get in my paintbrush. Just with the edge and just get any of that excess super glue. All right. Now, we're going to take your 2 circles that we glued together. We're going to take them and we're going to put some glue on the bottom of the candlestick. And we're going to attach it to the circles. Let's see which side I want to do. So you just kind of eyeball it, get it in the center. Get it right in the center. Just hold it there a minute. Put the top on that. Okay. Now we're going to glue this to this. So you kind of see where that's going to line up there, how far out it's going to go on your little spokes. And then you're just going to go in here with some super glue and put some on each spoke and in the center so we can glue it to that little circle. Okay, so I got glue right in the middle like that. And then you are just going to sit here and hold it for a second. It's going to want to slide around, but that's okay. Just kind of get it and hold it still for just about 30 seconds to a minute. Okay, so now we have our little pedestal, just like that. All cute. Okay, so now the easy part's next. What we're going to do now is I'm going to take some white, just white acrylic paint. You can use chalk paint, which I almost grabbed, but you can use acrylic paint, chalk paint, whatever you want to use. This is just white folk art, I think, regular chalk paint, acrylic paint. And we're going to use a chip brush and just get the end of our bristles in the paint, and then just come over here and tap some off to the side. And then you are just going to start going back and forth with your white paint like this. So you can start off light with a light hand at first, and then you can kind of go and do more and be, heavier as you want to do it. If you like less distressing, then do less or just do more. We are going to do this on the edges, which normally I don't paint the edges of my pieces just because it's charred. and it kind of makes your paint muddy, but using this technique will be fine. So, look how pretty that looks. Looks really pretty. Okay, so then I'm gonna do the same thing to the underside, and then go ahead and hit the edges. I'm just kind of hitting the edges as I go. Just get all messy with it. Get all in those little cracks. That's what's gonna make it all pretty. See how it looks? Just kind of going in all those little crannies, nooks and crannies, even on the top inside these little holes. You can go as light or as heavy as you want to go, like I said, on your distressing. You can do this any color you want to. You could start off with a gray stain and then do it in gray if you wanted. I just like the look of the white and the brown. I think it's real pretty. All right, so there's my underside. Like I said, I'm just kind of going back and looking and making sure I got in all those corners. Get a little bit more paint. Okay, so now I'm going to hold it by the actual snowflake, and then I'm just going to do the same thing down here. Get my candlestick real good and distressed. Okay, that is all it is to that. Look how cute. See, it's all distressed. Isn't it pretty? Look at it. I think it looks so super cute. Super, super cute. So then we're just gonna let it dry. It dries pretty fast anyway, just because you're barely even putting any paint on there. But look how super cute. Super, super cute. And then you can, you can set stuff up on top of it. Just little display pieces. So super cute. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. See you later.